Totally Nonsense on Nonsense News Nation. Totally.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids and cadets, to another riveting edition of Totally Nonsense. I am your host / boy, Brandon Scott Ellis, Hebrew name Shmuel Melech. And on the other side of Long Island, rumor has it there's another host. Please state your name, other host.
Hi, my name is Scott Honickman, and just before we started recording, Brandon was hacking up a lung. My God. I thought you had some... I don't even know what you had in your throat.
Probably COVID. I mean, likely.
No, you tested negative.
I tested negative, but who knows what happens a day later after I test negative. Maybe I have a party to celebrate.
Tested positive for Big Wiener. You see that picture?
No, I haven't.
Okay. My neck's in pain. But hi, everybody. It's good to be back.
It is so good to be back, Scott, because... later in the podcast, I want to talk to you about the latest Karen sighting. There are so many Karen sightings in the world, and I think it's just being brought out by COVID. I mean, Karens have always been around since the dawn of time. There was Adam, and then there was Karen.
I can't watch those videos, man. Those videos just make me cringe way too much. That's my cringe. I mean, Karens have always been around, like you say, but now they're becoming a full-blown series, people documenting Karens blowing up like crazy, like TikTok videos.
Well, Scott, it's important to know in all seriousness that some people are not being particularly nice, and in these particularly troubling times, so it's best to sort of point out a wrong behavior and correct it, sort of like how us Jews, we learn about the Holocaust every year.
What do you mean every year?
We're in the Karen Holocaust right now. It is that bad. There are so many bad Karens around that we need to be educated, so we never have another Karen Holocaust ever again.
We have to shame them into hiding.
They have to go into hiding.
Right. And speaking of going into hiding, this next story is about a robot that went into hiding. Permanent hiding, that is.
What?
So, let me explain. So, my story comes from a website I've never, ever gotten a story from, called pedestrian.tv.
I thought you were going to say Yahoo News. I got worried.
No, not Yahoo. I think this is like a streaming service of sorts, because it's .tv. But anyway, listen to this headline, Brandon.
Okay.
Security robot given the gift of intelligence chooses to drown itself. So there are a few photographs on this website of this robot. It kind of looks like a small rocket ship, very small rocket ship. There's pictures of it.
I probably thought it was a submarine instead of a rocket ship.
I don't know if it thought it was a submarine or not, but this robot, there are pictures of it going down a small staircase that leads to a small body of water, and it's on its side drowning. So in the article, it talks about how this robot was given, quote-unquote, the gift of intelligence. It's an intelligent robot, and it was security for a mall, like a building, like a huge complex plaza. And it was in the center of this, and it chose to drown itself.
Why?
I'll show you.
Was the pandemic too much?
Here, I'm going to copy this picture and then
was
send
the
it to you
robot
right
not
now.
wearing a mask and felt very insecure, so he decided to drown himself? Or
I think the robot witnessed a Karen in the mall and decided to end everything.
A Karen was particularly mean to the robot and said it had small arms or something and got really upset.
Oh no, how dare you. Look at the picture I just sent you. This is what happened to the robot.
Give me a second. All right.
This is live, folks.
What? Okay, I'm looking at the picture right now. It doesn't look like a rocket ship. It looks like a phallic vacuum cleaner.
It's ovular.
It looks like You know what? It actually looks a little bit like a submarine now that it's in the water and it's plopped over on its wrong side.
It's definitely, you know what it looks like? It looks like when you have soup and you have that one gigantic asparagus or the green beans in the soup. It kind of looks like that. It's like big and floating in the water.
I like how there's some security there. And
Yeah,
they
they're a little
look
too
so
late.
mournful. They look so mournful. It's like when they see like a fellow officer on the job who is down for the count. They're about to go on their walkie and they say, they'll say that vacuum 3000 is down, everyone.
Poor guys. They want to lost. You know what? They're gonna like parade it through the streets and shoot guns in the air.
I mean,
Like
you said, Scott, it was gifted with intelligence. How intelligent is this robot if it just did that automatically?
I'd argue you'd have to be highly intelligent to kill yourself. This world is unforgiving, apparently. He's
Especially
not coming back.
if you look like a submarine but are supposed to be a rocket ship. That would screw with anyone's head, even a robot's.
So, a little bit more background on this, just a little bit. This happened in Washington, D.C. What?
I'm looking at the picture, and there's like this bald dude next to this girl, and looks like she's running, and he's holding her back. Maybe that was her boyfriend or her pleasure tool. No, Ricky!
No! He's holding her, and she's like trying to run away.
Never felt much, but I love. Oh, it's all right, and it's like her father. It's all right. He wasn't good for you anyway. Don't say that.
It looks like Eve from WALL-E.
It looks like
Eve's dead.
looks like Eve when she's going on like her pleasure mode for WALL-E.
Oh, I hope that may have been a deleted scene.
Initiating pleasure mode. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I really feel for that robot's girlfriend. She's really being held back by that bald dude.
I think he's just walking.
There's a girl on the left who looks like she's laughing.
I'd be laughing
There's
too.
a redheaded woman who looks like the redhead from The Office, and she's either yawning or cupping her mouth in absolute,
I think her name is
like,
Pam.
terror. It's not Pam, it's the older one.
I don't know. Are you sure it's not Pam? Pam is the younger one, right?
The older one. The older
Are you
redhead.
talking about the older redhead?
Yes.
I don't know.
She's yawning, or she's either that or she's like
Crying,
shocked.
screaming.
She's either screaming or like terribly bored. There's no in between. Anyway, you were talking about the robot.
I mean, he's dead. That's all I can really say. He died in Washington, D.C., probably because somebody lives in Washington, D.C. that most of this country doesn't like. But we don't want to get political. We want to get on to our second story.
We do.
Right, Brandon?
If there's one thing all humans can agree on, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, or you're part of the birthday party. What we all can agree on is that
What?
Karens are a disease. And we spoke about Karens a little bit earlier. It's usually older women who want things their way, and when things don't get completely their way, they'll harass people. They tend to be on the side of racism. But what we've learned is that a Karen could be any race and could even be a male. But having said that, though, this Karen I will speak about today is a white female. So it's a very typical Karen, but what she said is kind of unique, so I thought it'd be good enough for the podcast here. So this Karen was spotted in a Panera. This seems like a very obvious choice for a Karen to reside. I'm surprised there hasn't been a sooner case, but this is a big case. I will talk about it here. This was in California. And so I'll describe the scene of events. I don't have the video on me, but I can tell you exactly what happened. So she whips out her phone to film the incident of what's going on. And the phone, she's a bit of a boomer, so it looks like a Nintendo DSi. It doesn't look like a modern day phone. And she questions one of the Panera servers, why she isn't being served. And she says, is it because I'm not wearing a mask? And the worker says, yeah, I honestly, ma'am, I'm not allowed to do this. This is policy. And so the person filming, I like to call him a brave Karen investigative reporter. He's like the Woodward and Bernstein of our day, reporting on these Karens and exposing true corruption of white privilege and being a middle-aged angry woman. So he responds to this lady saying, no, they're not going to serve you because you're not wearing a mask. That's exactly right. That's exactly right, you dummy. It's particularly blunt, but how else do you get to a Karen? You got to fight
Brandon,
fire with fire sometimes.
Don't be so mean.
I didn't say anything to the Karen.
She's being mean.
I'm not the guy who said that. I'm just quoting him.
Right.
Anyway, Scott, I'm going to continue on, but just know that I didn't do any of this, so please don't judge me. This is the guy who filmed. This is the Karen. This isn't me. Okay?
Okay.
He's not the Brandon you know and love. He's not this person.
Brandon wouldn't do it.
Brandon wouldn't do it unless he got money. Anyway, so she harasses a Panera employee for a while until this Karen exterminator, as I like to call him, roasts her even harder, calling her a selfish piece of,
duty.
Shiitake mushrooms, as they say, for not wearing a mask. And in Karen fashion, this Panera Karen shouts, hoping that the problem will go away by screaming at a person. And Abby clearly doesn't. When this doesn't stop the incident, no one thought it would, she proceeds to blow on our hero. After screaming at him, and after he doesn't take it, she does the unthinkable. In the COVID world, you could pretty much bomb that Panera at that point. You could pretty much have, like, a detonator and have it go off and the whole place go into smithereens. That is equivalent of blowing on a person now. It is that bad, and she did it. Other people started cursing her out, and just like an airbender on Avatar gone rogue, she directs her toxic corona fumes at everyone for criticizing her. It was like this crazy airbender move from Avatar. It was like a tornado going everywhere. It was nuts. Except that it's a lot more deadly. It's more deadly than a tornado, because you can't say a tornado would give you coronavirus, but this Karen will. So she does that. That's her big attack. And she's just about to reach the door. And the Karen thinks for a moment and says, you know what? I'm going to enlighten these patrons on the truth about wearing masks and why I didn't wear one today. And this is legit what she actually said. I'm going to get quote. You think that mask is going to protect you? You fart off.
Yes.
You fart off your butt, your tuchus. I'm not going to say the A word here for the kiddies. And you smell it. You actually think that mask is going to protect you? Her logic literally was, when you break wind, the smell leaves the pants area and surrounds the given area. Because the pants can't protect that. Her mindset is,
dumb.
Why can't a mask protect from the coronavirus?
Why can't a mask? Except it does. It has nothing to do with breaking wind. Or, what is it called? Cheesing or something. Cutting the cheese.
She definitely broke some wind when she was blowing on everyone. She probably blew extra loud because she ripped one. I can imagine.
Ew.
She's probably screaming loud to cover up. And she stormed to the door because she was embarrassed.
I mean, like, look. Karens are a disease in and of themselves. And Karens need to be wearing more than masks. They need to be wearing
muzzles,
straitjackets, and muzzles. That's a good way to put it.
You know, these Karens are stinking up society. And now we know literally they're doing that.
Society.
So the person filming, who sounds significantly younger than this enraged soccer mom, tells her to grow up as she exits the building. It's kind of sad when you have someone who probably is our age, Scott, telling this grown woman to grow up and stop talking about farting.
Yeah, you should probably be doing something else, like having a YouTube podcast about stories pertaining to Karens like you.
Yeah, that's so much more productive and mature.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm about done talking about Karens. I don't think I could take it anymore, Scott. Do you have another story for me?
Yeah, yours was quite cringe, but mine is not cringe.
Keck or cringe, Scott?
Keck or cringe.
Keck or cringe?
I hate the internet. Anyway, study. I found this WebMD. My second story, which is our third story, is from WebMD. We've never had a story from WebMD.
You keep going to new places. I'm so excited.
If there's anything
I feel like we just
doing.
went to this podcast just went to third base right now, and we're about to hit a home run during the next story. But right now we're at third base, and things are going great between us and this podcast. So let's keep it up.
If our podcast was a person, it would not be a virgin anymore. It's about to lose its virginity.
It's
anyway,
literally about to happen as we speak.
Listen to this headline from WebMD. New study, Brandon, on people with dementia. Study. Many with dementia don't know they have it. Obviously.
That was a study? People thought about it? Huh, interesting. They don't realize they have dementia.
So, many older Americans with dementia apparently, like I said, don't know that they have the disease. A review of data from 585 people on Medicare with probable dementia found that 6 out of 10 of them were either unaware or undiagnosed. So that's more than half of the 585 who were likely to have the disease didn't even know they had it.
I'm so glad that these scientists took time out of their day to point out the obvious. Now, can you go back and try to cure COVID, please?
Yeah, really. What are you doing with your time?
We've been in. That's how you know we've been in quarantine for too long. They had nothing else to do. They probably finished Persona and Xenoblade, which are such long games, and they had nothing else to do, and they didn't know. They're like, what do we do? And so they thought, well, my grandpa's living with me, and he sure doesn't. I don't think he knows he has dementia. And Johnny will call up Theodore and go, hey, Theodore, your grandpa who conveniently lives with you too. Does he know he has dementia? And he goes, no, I don't think so. I'm going to ask Bridget next door. And he goes to Bridget next door. Hey, Bridget, does your grandma know she has dementia? And then she goes, well, she passed away last Tuesday. Then he goes, my condolences. Then Bridget goes, anyway, I don't think she did know. And then the chain keeps going. And there's this great discovery that these elderly people who had dementia didn't realize they had dementia. That's like the whole point about dementia. You don't know what's going on.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Brandon.
what it is. I'm not a scientist. I had a grandma who had dementia. Does that make me king of this? Does that make me an expert? She didn't know she was like a freaking human. She didn't know. Of course they don't know they have dementia. That's why we say they have dementia. It's not a cute little moniker. It's not a cute little title where you go to a little kid and go, "Hey, you're the captain now of this little ship." When they're on a little boat. No, this is your grandma who doesn't know what time period this is. She doesn't know she has dementia.
Well, Brandon, I really appreciate your spiel.
I'm glad.
Because I didn't have much else to say about it.
I can go on forever, but I got a story that may lift up your spirits, and that may not be the only thing going up from this story.
Right.
So
let's hear it.
This is what I call the sexiest drive-through in all of Texas.
What?
I thought something would be going up. So there's a jiggle joint in Houston, Texas.
What? Jiggle joint?
A jiggle joint.
What does that mean?
I'll let your mind do the imagination.
It's just okay.
Sexy drive-through and jiggle joint. Please do the math. I don't want to explain it. I'm surprised your parents didn't explain it to you when you became of age. But you know what? Some people are late bloomers.
They explained it to me in school.
They sure did.
Anyway, let's hear about this jiggle joint.
So this jiggle joint in Houston, Texas, adapted with the times and created a drive-through strip club. Yeah, it's a strip club. I just wanted to be clever and say it was a jiggle joint.
What in the world?
What in the world? Yeah, so you know when you go, if you are the type of person who goes to a strip club, you go in, you get particularly close to an almost completely naked female, and they shake their hips a bit, they grind on you.
I've never seen one.
And you throw money, and you eat wings, and you probably get wing sauce on them, but they get paid to be compliant about it. And that's what a strip club tends to be. I've never been to one, Scott. I went to Hooters once because my Israeli friend really wanted to, because he was in America. That's the most
Femboy Hooters?
It should have been.
It's a femboy
I wish it was femboy Hooters, but it was just Hooters, and there's too many drunk people. And that was the closest thing I've ever had to a strip club experience, Scott. So that's apparently what it is. But as much as people do enjoy that, who tend to have wieners, you can't really do that in these times. You can't really get too close to these girls. There's so many fears of COVID. So this Houston joint decided to change with the times. So patrons could order food by the area, just like any ordinary fast food joint. It includes nachos, burgers, and pizza, and a different assortment of alcoholic beverages. And here's where the stripper twist comes in. As patrons wait for their food, they'll be able to park by a makeshift tent full of socially distancing strippers.
What's the point of that? You want to be right there with the action.
You could literally... Listen, gentlemen, I have a much easier thing. Go to McDonald's, get a burger, go to the drive-thru, come back home, turn on your laptop, and put on your favorite naughty site. That's all you need to do. I don't know why. I guess some people like to see these things in person, I guess. And they're wearing masks, too, these strippers. Just to be
they're all
extra
wearing
socially
masks.
distant.
I hate this time we're living in so much.
And in some of the photos, they have like all these dollar bills by where the strippers are. So I can imagine that people were throwing dollar bills out of their cars. Here you go, foxy lady.
Them's Foxy's Funyuns.
What?
Sorry, it's drawn together.
Oh,
you know how I am.
Oh, I know the foxy character. Okay.
Spuddy pop the hood, I got champagne.
So
Don't mind me.
it's okay. So customers, what the fuck? Customers can park by a given stripper and stay there for the length of 2 songs. So probably Anaconda by Nicki Minaj, and what's another good song?
That's not a good song.
I'm sexy and I know it. Probably those 2 songs playing over and over on a loop. And then that's it. That's the fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed going to Houston, driving hours of your time to go to this amazing tourist attraction. No, and not getting COVID. You were protected from COVID by going to this strip club, which isn't much of a club or stripped down too much. It is stripped down from the strip club. So I guess you could say it's a strip club. It's a stripped club, not a strip club.
Strictly cannot touch any of the strippers or go near them at all.
No, but you can go in your car.
Pointless, Brandon.
It is pointless, just like this entire podcast. But I appreciate, Scott, you joining me to talk about these strippers that we will never see because we respect all women and we love them. I don't know what I'm saying. No.
I hope you agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed talking about these strippers that we aren't seeing. Hope you enjoyed talking about a robot who literally died, not by COVID, by suicide of all things.
I've never heard of a robot suicide.
I hope you enjoyed discovering what a Karen Panera would be like. That's exciting. And I hope you discovered, learning the truth, that dementia patients who have dementia most of the time do not know they have dementia. I know this is very riveting. I learned so much today, Scott. It was great. Thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in. And if you want to hear more from us, I sure hope you do. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Stitcher, Anchor, SoundCloud, YouTube. We also have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter. We post some funny stuff every now and then. Don't get me wrong.
Every now and then.
Every now and then. You never know. Mm-hmm. And if you want to contact us personally and give us the latest update on Karens in your life, because they sure are out there. We want to know more. You can contact us at nonsensenewsradio@gmail.com. That is nonsensenewsradio@gmail.com. Once again, I've been Brandon Ellis.
I have been Brandon Scott Honickman.
And this was Totally Nonsense on Nonsense News Nation. We'll see you next time. Peace and love.
Goodbye, love strippers.
Love Karens.